might think that getting into the IT field is impossible without a computer science degree, but Tech Coach Ralph is here to prove you wrong. Get ready for some jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into this lucrative industry. Listen up, tech enthusiasts! Are you ready to break through into the IT field, but feel like you need a computer science degree to make it happen? Think again! Tech Coach Ralph has some exclusive, mind-blowing secrets to share with you. Get ready to be blown away by his jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into the tech industry without a computer science degree. So get your notepad ready, because Tech Coach Ralph is going to change your life forever. Buckle up, because you're about to embark on a journey to success in the IT field.
It's time!
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Today is Sunday, April 21st, 2024. We are back at it again. We are in the building. If you don't know who I am your host of this Sunday afternoon show. I am Tech Coach Ralph, where, above all else, we are engineered to win. We're about winning, we're about victory, and that's what we do here. All right? So, today we're going to be working on Terraform. The general idea is we are going to continue building out the load balancer for our Docker, for our ECS service, right? Our Elastic Container Service. Because we want to do a test for like a week where we can see how much is it going to cost us if we run the application using Fargate versus if we do it the way that we've been doing it using Elastic Container Service, or not if we use Elastic Beanstalk, right? Running our node app. So the ultimate test is going to be, we're going to set up a subdomain where we are going to point that to the Docker and see how that runs versus what we currently have running now. So we're going to be sampling it out, see what we can do. So that is going to be the goal for today. If you haven't done so already, do me a big favor. Go ahead and like the video already. Don't waste any time. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you can know every time that we go live. If you're on YouTube, like and connect with me on LinkedIn if that's where you're watching at. I love connecting with you guys, hearing what you guys are working on. We are in this together as people in the tech community, especially if you're in QA. I'm already planning for next month's QA meetup after we had a great one last month. I'm going to be reaching out to some people to see like what are the things that we want to discuss. I'll figure it out, right? So a lot of things to do. We're gonna have some discussions, but let's get into our agenda real quick. I already gave you a brief overview of today's plan, but let's get into our agenda, and then we'll take it from there. Okay? So let me pull that up. And so first and foremost, we're at 985 subscribers, less than a year. That means so much to me that we are 15 away from 1,000. Whether I love growth, right? I love growth, but I have to be honest. I've learned so much about so many different things, so many different tools and technologies, from video editing, from trying to be a little bit more creative on thumbnails, ideas for like trying to get people to see the videos and stuff like that. That's more on a content creation part, right? But from the technical aspect, so many things that I wanted to do for the past 10 years. This is how crazy it is, right? And that's why I also encourage my tech barbarians to do this. So many things that I wanted to learn for the past 10 years. I've done it in less than a year's time. If you we can go through, well, I won't do that. But if we're gonna check my Udemy, I have so many different courses. Like I started a mobile app course for Android a long time ago. Didn't get very far, but through the morning shows, got so far with mobile app development and we're still working on that. Learning Terraform, what we're doing on Sundays, learning more different QA tools and strategies, getting more familiar with Node and everything like that, getting more familiar with Python, AI, so many different things that, and just the fact that I can share it with you and you guys appreciate that. And that's why you guys subscribe and we interact and stuff like that. That means a lot to me. And we're going to touch on that a little bit more as we go through the show. But I just want to say a big, big thank you to all of the newest subscribers, as well as the subscribers who've been here for a while. Those like Don, those like Good Guy, those like Sean, those like Mitch, the new subscribers. I appreciate you guys so much. The new ones like Pluto, like I'm Technically Tim, all of you guys, and I cannot forget my guy Michael Jenkins, who's been I've been talking to him for a while, but his support, all of you guys, and for whoever I did leave out, I really appreciate you all, right? So as I always say,
I appreciate you.
For sure. I really, really do appreciate you. All right. So now I want to say another salute and shout out to my tech barbarians working. So I can't stress it enough, right? My newest tech barbarian, so hungry, so dedicated that I'll say, all right, this story is ready to be tested. And they just go and they try to figure everything out right now, figuring out Docker Compose and testing APIs and stuff like that. The amount of work that I see them putting in, amazing. And then I'm telling another tech barbarian that, hey, I'll be honest, hey, you messed up in whatever you're doing before. We're gonna have to make some change, and this is the route that we're gonna take. Are you with me or not? If you're not with me, then, you got to go find somebody else. But if we're trying to fix the wrongs of the past, this is the route that we're going to have to take. And they were like, I'm with it, coach. Whatever you need me to do, I'm going to do it. Right. So that's the mindset that I'm talking about. So shout out to the tech barbarians constantly putting in the work. I have a few who are just getting after it, and that's the type of mentality that I'm thinking about. And I can just see from day one who's going to go very, very far. And then there's those that they make it seem like they're going to go very, very far. And then we have to, put some pep in their step, that's how coaching goes, So shout out to the tech barbarians and all of the Patreon members, you guys, and I have a video coming out on Patreon tomorrow. I'll let you guys know a little bit later in the show what that's going to be about. But trust me, I've been talking about it for a very, very long time, and you guys are definitely going to appreciate it. All right. So I always love to start the show that way because I love the work that I do, whether it's on my regular job or the things that I study outside of it. Everything is work for me, right? So and like the shirt said the other day, no days off, right? No days off. So I love the work that I do, and I love to be able to share it with you, give you guys insights, give you guys strategies, like we reviewed on the show on Thursday night. Whether you think I'm giving you bad advice or you think that I'm helping, I'm open to talk about it. And we're in this together as tech people and those who are trying to make a name for ourselves and win. Let's go out there and get it. All right. As I always say, let's go out there and get it. There, no days off. No days off. All right. So with that being said, let's jump into our no days off schedule. All right. Our no days off schedule. So our live show schedule, we have our morning shows on Mondays and Wednesdays. On Mondays, I've been starting it around between 7:45 and 8 a.m. the last few weeks because I like hanging out in the Tech Niche Tips morning show at 7 a.m. So I'm like, all right, let me go and contribute to that show a little bit. And then as they start to wrap it up, and then just consider this the Tech Niche Tips Talk That Tech show after party, right? Imagine that morning after party. So once they start wrapping it up over here, I come over here. I'm like, all right, now let's look at some news and let's do some tech work. Let's start coding. Let's get our mind woken up for the week. We look at on Mondays. We look at the numbers we should look at for the week because we're about that. Like I was telling Mitch the other day, I'm on green time, right? Green time. So we do that. And then we start working on our mobile app development. So this week we're going to be working on that clear all button so we can clear all the fields. If you haven't seen that show, we do a lot of work in a short amount of time, just to wake up our mind for the day, you know. So Mondays and Wednesdays, Mondays I've been starting at 7:45 ish, and on Wednesdays we start around 7:15, and we do some work, you know, get our mind stimulated so we can have a productive day at work. Sunday afternoons, today we do software explorations. We work on Terraform on Sunday afternoons. It's going to be moving towards DevOps very, very soon. As soon as we wrap it up, I'm going to check the course to see if there's anything I'm missing, but I feel pretty confident in Terraform. I've been doing a lot of Terraform at work now, only because the only reason I was able to do this much Terraform at work is because the work that we've been doing together on Sundays, right? And that's you know, and that's the selfish part of this channel for me, because I get to learn so much stuff that I can apply it to work, and I apply it to my own projects, right? And we get to share that knowledge together. So that's what I'm talking about, all right? Now, we have our Tuesday nights, our Q&A nights, where we just hang out together, and I find some questions, I answer your questions in the chat, and if anyone ever wants to call in, the link is available to call in. The link is always available to call in on Tuesday nights. We can have a conversation. If you disagree with something that I said, we can talk about it there. If you have a different perspective, because maybe a lot of times we don't really disagree, we just have different perspectives based on our experiences. So there's that. There's Q&A nights on Tuesday nights. Looking forward to seeing you there, and you can call in and have a conversation. You don't even have to be on camera. You are more than you are more than welcome to be on camera. So it's totally up to you. But that's what we do on Tuesday nights. And then lastly, we have our Thursday nights software explorations. This coming Thursday, so the past few Thursdays, we were working on API testing and automation. The last Thursday, we did API testing automation with Python and the request library. This coming Thursday, we're going to be doing API automation with Java and Rest Assured. That one's a little bit more complex. Rest Assured takes a little bit more setup time, but we're gonna and I've done it for like a very long time. But we're gonna find a little guide that we can follow, so we can and we'll do the same exact thing that we did with Python. We're gonna do the same thing. You get to be the judge to see which one was easier, which one was harder. But either way, I say you try them all. I'll take the Tech Barbarian I was talking about. They were following along the live stream over the weekend, so they could recreate it for them testing, like to automate the API that we're working on. So I was like, wow, that's super impressive. Love it, right? So that's what we're doing this Thursday night. So much going on, different projects for different interests, but whatever the case is, join me and let's put this working together. I want to interact with you in the chat, see how it's going. And as I always say, in any live show that we do, I will stop the show when you have good news, and I will celebrate the hell out of your accomplishments. Because I will be tough on you when you're not doing what you're supposed to do. But when you get an accomplishment, we go like this, right? We just do it like this, and then we like, oh, not that one, not that. We go this one, and we go that one. Whenever you come to me with good news, because a lot of times we are so hard on ourselves, as we should be, but then when we do something good, we don't celebrate it. I always celebrate myself. If anything, I learned that from my son. He'll celebrate himself, and he'll tell you, hey, you better celebrate me too when I do good. So when I do good, I'm going to celebrate myself, and I'm going to celebrate you too. All right. I'm going to celebrate you. When you do good, I got you. All right. So that is the live show. That's what, and we talk about different stuff on the live show. So much stuff happening on the live shows. So you definitely want to join in. It is very, very fun, very entertaining, very informative, all of that good stuff. All right. So next up, our pre-recorded content. Mondays, we have Candid Conversations. Tomorrow, which is already scheduled to premiere at noon Eastern time, I'm going to be talking about how your attitude is your altitude. How high do you elevate and excel is based on your attitude, right? Plain and simple. Your attitude is what's going to get you there. Okay? And then we have on Wednesday, software explorations, concepts and overviews, guides, overviews, presentations. We're going to be learning about controllers for APIs, how they work, with the controllers, the routes, the models, all that stuff. So we're going to be focusing on the controllers because we've been talking about APIs. So that's what we're going to be talking about. And then on Fridays, we have the bug bite this coming Friday. We're going to be talking about a Gmail and YouTube two-factor authentication hack. How are these hackers how are they bypassing the Gmail and the YouTube two-factor authentication? You definitely want to tune into that to make sure that you protect yourself, right? Because no one else is going to protect you. So you have to protect yourself. Okay. So, and then throughout the week, we have shorts, which I didn't drop any shorts this past week because I was super busy during the week. And that one is still a little bit of a manual process, but we have our clips from the Q&A show that comes out daily, Monday through Friday. So much stuff going on, something for everyone. So definitely want you to be a part of everything that we're doing here. Like I said, I appreciate all the support, and we have so much more to do. We are, as David Goggins' book says, never finished. Never finished. No days off, never finished. All right? So, that being said, let's get back to... Come on. Let's get to it. All right? So, let's check the chat real quick to see if there's anything going on here, and then we will... Oh, man, there's a bunch of people in here. All right, so let's see. So, first and foremost, we have BP. It says, good afternoon to you as well. And then we have my guy in the building. Pluto says, yo, what it do, Pluto? What's going on? He says, damn. I'm on time, not the end of the street. It is not the end. You are on time. Welcome. And Pluto says, remember me when you are at 1 million. You are going to the top with me. All right. When one of us elevates, we all elevate. So, hey, you are right there with me. All right. So, Mr. Mitch is in the building. He says, interesting. What is interesting? And Mitch says, loosened up the tie. Superman is... What is Superman? Superman is alive. And healthy debates, I should. Is that buzz? All right, so by the way, Mitch, I'm not going to tell you that I was playing basketball earlier today. And I was dropping bombs from like 35 feet. I'm not going to tell you that, right? So you did not hear me say that I was playing basketball earlier today. And I was dropping bombs from 35 feet, right? With coverage, right? With coverage, right? So just, you know. But if I did tell you, that's what happened, right? And because it was so hot outside, and I'm like, man, I was so tired, like an hour, like even like, what time is it? 3 or 4? Like, yeah, about an hour ago, I was like dying tired, still trying to finish something up. And I'm like, man, I cannot have an energy drink, which I don't have any here anyways, but I'm like, I can't have an energy drink. So what I did was I made myself iced coffee. Just coffee, ice, and poured it over it, right? Because I made a commitment that I'm not going to drink energy drinks anymore. And so here we are. All right, here we are. And it says, is that Buzz Lightyear on your hoodie? Yes, I am. Buzz Lightyear to infinity and beyond. And it says, dreams money can buy. Hey, money solves a lot of issues, all right? Money solves, like, I know people are like, oh, money isn't everything. I'm like, yeah, that's, you know, it's not everything to people who have it, you know? anyways, I haven't even, actually, I did have a little sip, but let's get another one. All right, cool. All right, let's get into the show. I'm going to set a timer for 5 o'clock, right? So we're just gonna count down to 5. We'll take our breaks in between. Still haven't found a good way to do this timer thing yet. So we're gonna do, you know, we are figuring it out. We are building this plane as we fly it. All right. So let's do today's date. And we're gonna do 5 p.m. And we're gonna do that. Now we're gonna show the timer. There we go. So we have an hour and 53 minutes to go for this show. And we'll do what we do, right? We will do what we do. Once we get to the other screens, I will go ahead and update that. Before we so a couple of things I want to talk about, right? As we get into the show, which is related to what we'll be working on. Do you guys remember do you guys remember the day that the stream kind of froze because I was running Docker and I was running and I had to do the build and like it was a mess, right? And then when I tried to push the image up to the ECR, it would not go. And I was saying like, why is this stupid Docker image so large, right? So it turns out that the reason the stupid Docker image was so large is because me was the, well, I guess that doesn't work, but I was a stupid one, right? I was a stupid one, and that's why it didn't work. So what happened was, and let me open up the code so I can show you what it was. Why doesn't that stupid work? Come on. No. See, I hate when my sound doesn't work. Let me see. Let's see here. I don't know how they nope, not that one. I don't know how they organize this stuff, but let's see. Does this work?
Stupid.
Oh, it does work. Okay, so I was a stupid one, right? Because let me pull it up. I'll show you what I did wrong. All right, so let's go to this screen over here. So in this Terraform, like so in the Docker ignore file, right? So in my git ignore file, I have like ignore Terraform stuff somewhere in here, right? I don't know where, but it should be. Let me see. Actually, I don't have it in this file because it's on a branch because there's no Terraform stuff that is part of this. I'm on the master branch, on the main branch right now, right? But let me update this clock. But the thing is, because when building the Docker image, I did not have the Terraform folder excluded. So what happened was when I was building the image, it would copy everything. So let's go to the Docker file real quick, right? So this was saying to copy everything in the directory into the Docker image, right? So, but the thing is, in the Docker ignore file, it's excluding all of these things, but I didn't even think about it of why it would be so big. So when I was looking for like, why is the image so big? It mentioned the Docker ignore, and I remembered that one time I was trying to push to GitHub, and it couldn't go through because it was so large, and it was because of Terraform. And I was like, oh, wait, just 1 second there. Is it because the Terraform that it's that the file is like 2 gigs wide, right? 2 gigs wide, 2 gigs large. So that's so that was the crazy part about it. Let's go. Let me set this one up. 2500. Save that. So now if we go over into our console on AWS, we still logged. Oh, perfect. I'm still logged in. And we go here. Oh, it was already open. So we go here. And now if we look over to here, do you see the like the older images that actually made it through 600 megs, right? The newest image that I just pushed up like an hour ago, less than an hour ago, 80 megs, because I was pushing up the Terraform as part of the the Docker image, right? Which was not good, right? But we figured it out. We like, and that's the thing here. We figure all things out. So I am going to celebrate myself because of that. But before we do that, let me go ahead and fix this clock as well. Let's go with today's date and 0500. All right, cool. And I can move that over just a bit. Cool. There we go. So that's remarkable, and that's the thing. As we continue to move on, like we'll continue to learn and build off that progress, and we'll make mistakes along the way, and we'll fix those mistakes. That is the part that's the heart, and the heart, yeah, that's the heart of software development, engineering, QA, being innovative, learning new things, and that's what we do. So I am so happy to see that this was able to go through, and so just wanted to share that part with you, and you'll see how now with this, you'll see how as we continue the when we start up our ECR, that it's going to pull up the new site, right? So that's what we're going to be working on here, and then we'll continue building out these load balancers. Remember, like months ago, we worked on the load balancers with EC2 instances, but now it becomes even more prevalent that we are doing this because we get a better understanding. Actually, there is one more thing that I wanted to show you, but I'll let me go get it, and then I'll show it to you at our first break, because this is all about efficiency and building. So I am going to go to this screen real quick, and I'm going to put on. Let's go to here, and I'm going to put on some. I'll be back in like 2 minutes, or not even 2 minutes. It's right outside. I'm going to put on this sound real quick, and I will be right back. All right. So I have them on our first break. I'm going to share them with you. It's going to be about efficiency. Like I said in Monday's Candidate Conversations, I am looking to be how can I be even more efficient at 40, right? And I'll tell you this weekend was probably one of my most efficient weekends. Like funny, a bunch of things that I was planning on doing kind of got canceled in the mix, but we don't miss. And like I feel like I'm ahead of schedule, so I'm going to try to replicate this weekend going forward, on the things that I do. So anyways, let's get to it. We are, like I said, we're going to be working on Terraform stuff. And let's do it. All right. Let me check the comments before we go. And what we'll do is we will do our first break when we get to, let's go to 20. Once we get to in an hour and 20 minutes left, then we will go to our first break and we'll talk about some stuff. I'll show you what I just ordered to be even more efficient, because like I said, every second costs. So I want to use it as wisely as possible. So let's go out there and get it. All right. So like I said, we're going to break at our first minute and 20. In the chat, once you see that, if you see I'm not paying attention to the time, let me know and we'll prioritize our break so we can have a little bit of a discussion. All right. In the chat, let's see. Pluto says, Lord, and I thought a boss spawned behind me. Hey, it happens. All right. It happens. Anyways, let's get to it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to this screen and we are going to, because right now let's see what branch we're on. Get branch. We should be on main. Let's go some more. Yep, we're on main. All right. So we're going to go to git checkout Terraform. And let's just close all these files down. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to open the Docker folder and we're going to open up the Docker and we're going to run the plan for ECR plan. We're going to run the whole thing because we have to set up, RCR is already set up because we're just looking at it, but we need to set up the Elastic Container Service. And I guess it'll start doing the load balancing. Let's copy this because we're going to continue following this guide. And I'm going to paste it in this other screen over here. All right, cool. So let's go ahead and let's go into that folder. CD. So CD stands for change directory. CD. Terraform. Docker. And we're going to do Terraform plan like we always do. Let me get rid of this thing over here so it doesn't annoy the hell out of us. I don't need this open right now. Actually, no, I do. Well, no, we're good. So we are going to do that and we're going to say Terraform plan. And we are going to, so it's going to do all of this stuff. It's going to start creating the VPC and everything like that. And we'll continue to configure that as we go along because we're going to need all of that. And let's see. So it's doing all of that. Creating this. All right, let's do it. So we're going to do Terraform apply. And we're going to say yes to apply it. And look at that. Look how easy. And that's the thing that I love about this Terraform stuff. Look how easy it is to set up a whole bunch of infrastructure. If we have to set this up, and every time we come back to it, right? Boom, tenant resources applied right away. Every time we come back to it, we either have to, like if, let's say we didn't have Terraform, we would have to go into the console, Terraform or a tool like Terraform. I have to go into the console, do all these different applications and set them up, make sure they're connected together. While here, we just do a little command, like we write it once, and that's the heart of automation. That's why I always tell you guys, when you're like fighting for manual, and you don't want to learn how to code this type of stuff, this is the stuff that they're gonna see. It's not Terraform that's going to replace you. It's the people who know how to use Terraform who's going to replace you. There's always things that are going to need to be done manually. Like coding this is doing it manually. But whenever I need to set up infrastructure, and it makes it more secure as well. So it's not the AI or the automation. It's the people who know how to use it. Because then you can do more with less. So think about it, right? Don't get hooked onto one thing. You have to be dynamic. So within seconds, we have our whole infrastructure. Like, it's like ashes rising from the phoenix. We're back up. We tear it down, we bring it back up. Just like that. You see? Look at that. Manuel is Pluto's middle name, though. And Manuel, as long as you stay dynamic, we will always need you. We might not need Manuel, but we will always need Manuel. Shout out to Manuel. All right. So keep that in mind. Like, I can't stress it enough how important it is for you to learn how to make your life easier, which in turn makes your company's life easier and more money. More money as always.
Money.
Thank you for your patronage.
Okay? So now what we're going to do, we are going to, let's see. Did everything start up? Where? So one thing we need to do as part of this is output the public IP. Let me see if I can find it in here. Because without the public IP, we're gonna have to go into AWS console, which we can do for the time being, but I'd rather output it. I don't know if I can find it though. Let's see. We can look for that. So see, assign public IP. Let's see. There are subnets here. Oh, I see. Okay, so these are going to end up changing anyways. But let's go to output, and this is under resources. So let's go to it's going to be here. Output, and that's going to be PPQ. PPQ public URL or IP. And if we say, I don't know if we'll be able to do this, but let's go to resource, or not resource. Let's go to AWS ECS dot PPQ service dot network computer dot assigned public IP. Let's try this. I don't know if that's gonna work, but let's try it. Let's do another Terraform apply. Let's see. Network configuration is written by a list of objects that must be indexed using a numeric key like that. Guess we can do 0. And this is only because I don't want to have to do this manually. I just want the output to be given to me. So let's see. Is that gonna work? Let's see what we get. That sucks. All right, let's do a little bit of research real quick. Let's go over to here, and let's say Terraform output public IP for ECS. I think we looked at this last time. Let's see. You can retrieve the IP by enable set. Alright, so in your AWS. All right. So in our ECS service tag, they said to enable equals true. Got that. And we'll wait for the service to reach state ready. So that's why it was so fast. I think I want to enable that too. So if it doesn't work, we can get a failed on there. And we can say, so we got that part done. So I'm just doing it like what we see here in the code. So you don't need to see that part. And then use tag filter to identify the network. All right, so that now I'll switch to do this part. All right, so use tag to filter. All right, so we'll do a data. AWS network interface. And we'll call that interface tags. And we go here and we'll say filter. And we'll say name equals tag AWS ECS service name. Should I put service name here? So set this configures ECS tag the okay, gotcha. All right, cool. So we'll say here, this is gonna be values, and that will be lower I don't have a var.app name. Let's see, what's the name? var.app name, var.environment. So if we were to go to container definition, I think it's what are they naming there? Let me see. AWS ECS your service name. Let's check in here to see if we go to ECS, we shall go to here. And it's running, which is good. What I'm gonna do, I am going to, before I even do this part, right? let's comment this out. Let's run this again so we can see the tag name applied. So now if we go to the service, so I read it again. I commented out so you can see what I did. I commented this out just for the time being. And I ran it again so I can actually see the tags being applied to it. So if we go back over here, by the time that it's done, so it's applying it to this one. We go here, go to tags. It hasn't done it yet. Maybe that's a tag that it's trying to apply, possibly. Maybe that's why I can't do it. Let me see. Okay, so it did it. Let's see. Let's refresh. Where did it put the tag? Okay, there we go. So it's under the actual task. So I guess once the service comes back up, it should be applied to it. Or not. So I added it to here. Let's see. All right. So what does that mean? If this is here, let's go back to this screen. And if this is here, not sure what the app name is though. That's just variables that you're setting as your app name. It's just stuff that I put in there. Okay. So I don't even have those variables from what I see here. So if we just go into here and we say value equals, let's just say the value equals say we did that, right? Let's see. That's right. And now we're going to do output and we're going to say this is going to be changed from network. It's going to be data dot AWS network interface tags dot association 0 and public IP. Okay, whatever. Let's try running that one more time. See if we ever had. Let's see. What was empty results? Strange. I don't know. Let's not waste too much time on this part. Eventually we'll figure that out. It would be nice. It's a nice to have. I'm gonna comment the code out for the time being. It's a nice to have, but it is what it is. We're not going to harp on this for too long. Let's go to Terraform apply one more time. And let's say yes. And let's go find our container. Let's go over here. And let's go to here. Let's go to the service right here. We're not running? Why aren't we running anything? Did we mess something up? Oh, it's running now. All right, so start over again. Cool. So once that is up, we will use that public IP to see if it's up, and then we should see the newest version of the website because we have the current build of the Docker image that's loading this, so we should be able to see it once it comes up. So let's see what happens. I think we have a task running now. Yes, we are. It's still pending, actually. Tasks. Come on, let's get to it. It was running last time. Stopped. Essential container and task exited. Why does it say running? That's one task running. I don't know what the status of this at this point. All right, running. So we're up. Are we good or are we not good? Like, come on, Amazon. Let me know what's up with that. Now you're telling me nothing. I go to task. Health status unknown. Status running. Running. Deployment has reached a ready state. I'm so confused at this point. Let's see. Can we find the public IP before we go to break? Let's see. All right, now we say running. All right, let's go in here. Let's go in here. Where are we at? It still says 0 here. Go to task. Go here. It stopped. Oh my goodness, I don't know what's going on. So let's check there's no public IP. All right, what I'm gonna do a Docker Compose, or not Docker Compose. I'm gonna do a Terraform destroy, and then I'm gonna do another apply because I don't know what in the world is going on right now. But I saw it running earlier, but then we tried to do some changes that we probably shouldn't have done. And then things be happening. I don't even have a public IP yet. All right, I'm gonna stop it, and then we'll pick it back up. Let's go to here. And I am going to take this off as well because it's acting weird. Going back to how we had it originally. As soon as the destroy is done, then I'm going to kick it back off and then we'll go to break and then we'll talk and all of that good stuff. Okay? All right, so that's expected. And let's see, Terraform apply. Refresh this. All this stuff should be gone. All right, perfect. And we're gonna say yes. Put up another one. It'll be pretty quick. Cool. All right. So now when we come back from break, we will see if it's actually running, if it has the public IP. It looks like it was running last time. Made some changes. Things be happening. But whatever. Okay. So break time. Let me check the chat and then we'll go and we'll go to break. Okay. So Pluto had said so that he is setting up his studio while listening and glancing at the monitor there and there. I love it. I commend you, Pluto, for putting in that work. You know, we are going to. I think it's. I see a lot of people who are, and maybe it's my algorithm, right? But I want to connect and talk to tech people about tech stuff because and other stuff as well, but like I like to talk about tech stuff because it's going to get into something I'm going to talk about during the break of how we share and we bounce ideas off of each other. And like yesterday I stopped by this meetup and I got some really good information of things that I'm going to try, some content ideas and stuff like that. So I'm looking forward to it. I'll always be supporting you here, and if you want, we can come together and do some different things. But I think it's going to be awesome. So like I said, I will always celebrate your progress. And we have NC Worker in the building. Says, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon to you as well, NC Worker. It is always, and I repeat, always a pleasure when you join the stream. All right, so welcome. All right, and Pluto says afternoon, NC. Perfect. Okay, so all right, so the first thing I'm going to share, right, during this break is about how I am working to become more efficient. And I said, like yesterday, I was so surprised how ahead of schedule that I was, right? Couldn't believe it. But today, when I was going to not go play basketball, don't tell Mitch I was playing basketball, right? When I was not going to play basketball, I was like, you know what? There are a lot of times that, when I say a lot of times, there's like a lot of minutes that I'll waste in between. Like I'll be at, for instance, here's an example. If I take my wife to Walmart and I don't get out the car because I'm like, I'll just wait for you here. And, her 5 minutes might turn into 30 minutes and I'm just sitting there and I'm like using my phone and stuff like that. But there's only so much I can do with my phone. And I'm like, man, I should have my laptop, which sometimes I do if I'm planning on it, if I know about it. But I'm trying to be better at always taking a laptop. Maybe not, it doesn't have to be like my main laptop, but it can be a laptop that I can do some work on, right? But I'm like, or I'll be waiting for people to show up for basketball, or I'll be like before jiu-jitsu, I'll be in the car. I actually know. So I'll get out the car and I'll go inside, and then a lot of time, like you're just waiting for the class to start to talk. I'm like, how can I maximize those minutes in between, right? So this is what I got. Or two of them, right? Why two? You'll know why in a second, right? So or this bad boy right here, right? This one. So what this is going to do is, while I am in the car, I can plop it up onto the steering wheel so that I can do a little bit more work while I am waiting for whatever the next thing is to do. All right, so open it up real quick. It comes with these two hooks right here, where you hook it up onto the steering wheel, and then you have, unbox this real quick. Actually, no, these are the hooks that go onto the steering wheel, right? Can you see it? Right? And then you have this thing where you can, this thing, it expands, I guess, and it hooks onto the steering wheel. And now you can set up your laptop on it and you can get some work done. Right? So I ordered 2 of them, one for each car. So when I'm driving my car and I am waiting to whatever the case may be, I can pull out the laptop. I can continue working, getting things done, because most of the work that I do is on the laptop. So whether I am, or like, here's another example where I can make use of it. When we take longer trips, like driving to Orlando, and if I'm driving and I'm waiting at the rest area for whoever has to go use the bathroom or get something to drink, something to eat, and it might take like 20 minutes. I'm like, oh, let me pull it out and do some more work. Or if I'm not driving, I can also use it as well. Like so many different opportunities that I'm seeing that I can make use of this, because I want to maximize that efficiency. I thought about getting the other ones like the police officers have, where it's like they have that stand that's like right there. But I'm like, okay, maybe that's a little too much, because that one's like a little bit more expensive as well. So I said, let me try this one out, right? Got 2, one for my car, one for the other car. And now I can get a little bit more done. I can maximize those minutes, right? So that's my thought. That's what I'm thinking. I'm going to try it out maybe today. I'm going to go set it up in one of the cars and see how it works. Might have to figure out, I'm going to say, hey, let's go to Walmart and, take as much time as you want. And I can, see what I can do in there, right? So that'll be interesting to find out. Now, let's see what the comments say before we move on. And of course, let's see. Mitch says, wasn't even playing in your dreams. Like I said, if I was playing today, I would have been dropping bombs from 35 feet. And I believe the jujitsu over. Is it because I have like the pictures like right there on the wall? Like, is that why you believe it? Because if you didn't see the pictures, would you believe it? Huh? You see? Doubting Mitch. All right. And Pluto says, I do that when I'm at the car dealership. I bring my iPad and study or do work. It's a must. Oh, for real. For real. Like whenever I go, if I have to sit at a place for a long time, I always have my laptop and stuff. But I just want to take those little extra minutes. Like when I'm waiting for something, I'm not doing anything. I'm just sitting in the car. And like I'll be listening to something. I'm like, hey, I can like, and I'll do it sometimes where I pull out, but it's like hard to maneuver and like putting the or go sit in the back, which is this. You can also use it in the back, right? You can also use it in the back where it's like when you're on a plane and the tray comes out, like it works like that too. So I'm like, I'm gonna try it out. It's rarely that I sit in the back, but if I decide to let people drive me, which I don't know if that's gonna happen, I will make use of it because I want to get the most. And it's like when I think about like, oh, when I'm driving to Orlando, it's like a 2.5 to 3 hour ride. I'm like, man, maybe I should just let somebody drive so I could like make it a little bit more efficient. I don't know, but that's my efficiency tool, how I'm getting more efficient. So we can do more, right? Because like when I have to like create my thumbnails, when I have to get my descriptions and stuff like that, I can make the most. If I'm working on something in Docker, I can use my phone as a hotspot, and I can just make a little bit more use of my time. So that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking, right? And what else did I want to talk about in this? So I also created my very, very first GitHub action on Friday, right? On Friday, because I've been working. So in in the in the coaching group, we're building the app, like you guys see it in the chat always popping up about the poopy pants dot app, right? Where it's just different David Goggins quotes that you click the button, you have poopy pants, you get a quote, right? So much work has been done that's what the Terraform work that we're doing, the infrastructure. But I said, you know what? I need to implement unit tests on it because unit test is a must. But having to figure it out in Node was new, and I still need to get this work up so my tech barbarians can do what they have to do. So what I ended up doing was I got it working amazingly. I'm like, oh, cool, awesome, this is working. And then I said, oh, but on GitHub, because I just upgraded my GitHub so I can have like branch protection rules and all that type of stuff, putting in that work. Learned about how that works. And then I said, oh, but can I run my tests in GitHub via GitHub Actions? So did a little bit of research on that. Set up my first GitHub action, which I want to show you as well. Let's go with GitHub, and we are going to go into this one, that one, and it's going to be in the where's my branch? It's going to be in what branch is this in? This one. All right. So if we go into this and quick, like I'll probably do some type of video on this at some point, but I just want to share it real quick. So in this GitHub, so when you create the GitHub action, you put in a folder called .github and /workflows, and I have this node.js YAML file, and in here, I am just saying, okay, what branch? Like when you're trying to push to these two branches, the GitHub action runs. When you create a pull request trying to merge into this branch, the GitHub action runs. And then my environment variable. So what I'm saying here is like if the environment that is running on in GitHub, then these are the code knows like what parameters to set and stuff like that. And it just that's pretty much it. It does everything from there. And I can actually show that. And these are all the stuff that my tech barbarians are working on. This is Docker Compose. This is a really cool one as well. Let me see this one right here. And if you scroll all the way down, so if you're not familiar with GitHub, right, when you do like pull requests, I have people to approve it, and then it shows that all checks have passed, and you can see right here the Node.js CI build passed. And if we look at some details, it tells you everything that was done on that. So I am going to take a moment right now to celebrate myself because this was so new to me, and spur of the moment, hey, can I do this? And then I figured that out, and I figured it out in like maybe an hour or so. I am going to give myself a celebration.
We the best.
Yes, we are the best. All right. Yeah, so I'm going to save the last thing I want to talk about in this break for the next break because time is running. So let's get back to work. Let me check the chat before we get back to work. Let's see here. So let's go here, check the chat, and then we will get to it. All right. So Mitch said, I was just thinking about one of those laptop desks. There you go. There you go. Like I want it for the car. And then it says, bro, got the law enforcement set up. That's what I'm talking. Where are you? Where is the one I'm looking for?
Bruh.
Yep. Got the lawn for. I wanted the one that it's like right there on the side, can always have it up. But I said, okay, maybe that's going a little bit overboard. But maybe next month, who knows? Who knows, right? What else do we got in the Chizat before we get going? He is tech enforcement. That's what I'm talking about. See, and that's the name of the Patreon members, the tech mercenaries. Because we put in that work. We are for hire. We are for hire. And Mitch said he got the food tray where the warden be at. Hey, hey, you got to do what you got to do. You got to do what you got to do. And see, he even mentioned it. There you go. All right. Let's get back to work. Too much fun and games happening over here. We are not supposed to have this much fun when we are doing tech, because tech is supposed to be boring. We are not supposed to have this much fun in tech. That's what somebody told me. Like, oh man, I started doing a boot camp for software engineering, but I pulled out because I thought that I would be so bored, because I'm an introverted person, which I am not an introvert. No, I'm an extroverted person, and I thought that I would be so bored doing this thing, and I was like, what? All right. Anyways, let's get to it. So this thing said that it was done. So now let's swoop on over to our ECR. We go over here. And let's refresh this. What? How dare you? Let's see what's going on here. It says I have one task running and that the deployment completed. If I go in here, it says it's pending. Why is it pending? Last time it worked perfectly fine. Let me see. Tasks. Status active. I have everything here. Is it because of something in the Docker file? I don't understand why it's not starting. Let's see. We got all this set up correctly. All we did was update the Docker image that it was using. Let's see. Namespaces. Cluster. Service. One pending. Click on that. And we go here. Deployment in progress. Task. Last status running. Logs. I don't see any logs. Stopped. Let's check out the manual one to see what's going on here, because that's weird. This should have started up right away. Let's go here. Let's say create. Not create. Let's go to here. Services. I wonder. Let's see here. I wonder if that's happening because that file did look kind of small. Let's go to our ECR real quick. And let's go to here. Maybe that's too small. Let's go to this one. Details. Let's go check the details on this one. See why that shouldn't start. But let's see if we do that. Maybe something's wrong with this image. That's possible as well. Let's go here and let's go to details. Let's go to this. And if we go over here, I'm just going to paste this in for now. And let's say we take that and change that here. Let's get rid of this line. Oops. So let's see if we use this one to see if that makes any difference. Because this is weird. Like this shouldn't be happening. So the only thing I can think of is the the image that is currently up there. Something's wrong with it, and that's why I can't start. But I don't have any logs to see. Maybe I should also enable logs. So let's see how we can. What I want to do is here. Let's go to here. And if we go into the service, let's see if we can enable the log so we can see what exactly is going on in here and why it continues to fail. And then maybe so let's see if we can enable logs. The logs go at the task level. So let's find out how we're going to do the logs. Terraform, AWS Cloud Garage, log group. There's got to be another way to do this. Let me see. Let's see. So let's see if this actually started though. I don't like the fact that it says, see, something's not right. Hold on. Last deployment in progress. Task, no tasks, no logs. Let's see. I don't see anything. Revision 5. And this one. I am 'cause the only change. Let's disable this altogether. And let's bring everything down. Cause something. Shoot. I didn't want to do that. Let's that destroy too. Let's get the load balance destroyed too. Let's try to get it back to the state that it was before. Cause it's so weird that this isn't starting. It looked like it started earlier, but maybe it didn't actually. I don't know. Let me take a look at the plan to see if there's anything else in here that might change, but I don't think so. Got those disabled. All right. So now I'm going to comment these out. And I'm going to try to spin it up again. Something's up with this not starting. All right, so I did the Terraform again, right, to start it back up. Don't see what is causing it not to. All right, so here, trying to deploy the task. While it's doing that, I am going to also go into this one. And I want to just do this manually, right? So let's say run new task. Or do I have any tasks that exist? All right, so let's do the PPQ app one, right? So we'll go to, we'll go here and we'll say, use this cluster right here. And we'll say, let's do it manually. We'll say here, create a service. And we'll use Fargate and we'll do that. And we will say service and we'll say this one. And we'll say BQ. And we will say networking. Leave that as is. Public IP. Let's create that. All right. So while that's happening, let's go look at the other one. Refresh. So this one has one. Supposedly this one has one running, right? It looks like it is running. So we might not even need the other one. So something with that load balance was messing it up, which is good to know. This says running, which is also good. So if we were to go to, there's no logs, which we have to figure out how to get the logs. Go to this right here. We're under configuration. We probably need to go under service, or maybe not service. Oh, there you go. Infrastructure maybe. No. Where did we get it last time? Here. Where's my public IP? I know I saw it earlier. It's under tasks. And then if I copy this, and I go here and we do 3000, and it has the old one, but let's do another destroy, or not even a destroy. Let's just do a update into, so because we were using the older one, right? If we go here and let's say we change this, because that'll tell us what the real problem is, right? Let's say we change this from here to latest, and we do Terraform apply, which is going to update it to the latest version of the image. We should be able to see the new application after it goes through its whole process. Let's find out. A lot of troubleshooting always goes on. So let's go to the other one now, because it's already done in Terraform. Let's go to here. Should be starting up a new task. Let's refresh that. So if it starts up, then it was the load balancer that we're configuring, that because it's not done yet, that was causing the trouble. If it doesn't work now, then that's because then something might be wrong with that actual image, which not sure why, but we'll find out. Let's see. Shouldn't it also bring this one down as well? It has definition inactive. It says running. Let's see. Does this site still come up? Still coming up. So something. Maybe you have to bring it down. I don't know. Okay, now it's not there anymore. Apparently, right? Let's see if we go back over here. Refresh that. Okay, it's trying to get to latest, but I don't think this would come down. Still there. Now it's gone. Is it? Okay, wait. So let's go back some more. I have two running, one running. Make up your mind. How many do you have running? All right, so we go here. Task. So it looks like there's an issue with the latest image because this one is still running. I don't see what's causing it to fail though. So there is a public IP. So let's go to this one then. Let's see what we get. Do we get two sites up and running? Two different no, it's not gonna come up. There's a public IP, but it's not gonna come up. Because it would have been there by now. But I think something's wrong with that image, which is unfortunate. But I can figure that out after. All right, cool. So now we know. Let's go to all right, cool. So we are going to destroy everything, bring it back up, and then work on the load balancing. All right. So let's go and go here, and we will use the old image for now, and we'll do Terraform. So it might not. I don't know. It might not actually have been the. Might not have been the. Yeah, something's wrong with that container. All right. So it might not have been the load balance stuff. I'm gonna put the load balancer back, and then so we can get that far at least, and then we'll see what happens. But like I said, always a learning experience. Um, so, let's see. All right, so let's go back over. While that's happening, I'm gonna go over here. I'm gonna see what's going on. No task running. No services. Good. No tasks. And then we're gonna kick it back up and we'll see what happens. All right. So much learning going on. Not sure. I'm should have tried to start up that Docker image manually before I pushed it, but because it worked before, I just figured it was gonna work. But I might have some type of configuration that's missing in there. Not too sure, but it's all good. It is all good. We will eventually get the latest version of the site up and running on Docker. We have it running like live right now, but and some stuff that we're doing on it too. We are changing the implementation of how the quotes are getted are retrieved into building out a full-fledged API for it. I just created a story this morning for adding authentication, and based on what we were talking about earlier with the controllers, we are going to have to build a controller to be able to retrieve a random quote for that is active and that is for a particular person who the quote is attributed to. All right. So what I'm going to do right now, we have that. Do we have our old one? Yes. So I'm going to do another Terraform apply, and we'll go to break. We'll do like a maybe 5-10 minute break, and then we'll do our last 30 minutes after that. But we'll do a Terraform apply, see what happens, and then we'll continue building out our load balancer. Hopefully that works. But looks like it should because it did come up last time. Let's go to yes. And while that is happening, we will go to break. Like I said, let's go to full. All right. So we have about 40 minutes left. Let's do a 10-minute break. And then at the most 10 minutes. So once we get to 30, we will go back to try to finish this up, see how much more progress we can make with this, because we didn't really get to do much on the load balancer because I thought that the new Docker image was going to work, which looks like I'm wrong. I'll figure that out after the stream, because if I open up Docker now, the whole stream is going to freeze and stuff like that, and I'm not trying to have that. But it is on my list to get a new, more high-powered laptop very, very soon, so that I can play with Docker, I can play with WebStorm and PyCharm and do all the crazy things at the same exact time. All right, so let's go to chat, and we have Pluto ask question: if it's not too personal, is your channel under a S corp or LLC? It is currently under an LLC. Yeah, it's under LLC. Because I have like everything under one, but eventually I'm going to split it out into having different parts of it, and have to talk to somebody to see like what's the best route to do it. Because as you go along, then you can start to, when things start to change, you can start making adjustments. Like, okay, now I'm going to branch this out to be its own company. This is going to be its own company. So, but as you're growing, you figure that stuff out. So we'll see. Let's see. What else do we got? Pluto says, I think the only thing that makes AWS better than Azure is easier to use Linux and Terraform. And I haven't really used Azure much, but I am a lot more familiar with Linux than I am with with this type of stuff than I am with Windows. But yeah, like you might be totally right about that. I have it on my list to get into Azure and to be able to do Terraform in it, to try to set up all this type of stuff. But that's down the road somewhere. And Pluto said, if you don't mind, after the stream, I'll send you a pic of the setup. Need a rose. Hey, send it over. And, we'll see. But I'm pretty sure it's going to be pretty awesome. And it says, it says, nope, I was thinking of doing that all under one and then overtime separate overtime. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, because it's like when you're trying to grow and stuff like that, you're just doing different things, and as things start to pick up, you're like, okay, so this is something that's gonna work. That's how I'm thinking. I could be totally wrong about it. So I'm not a tax person. I'm not an accountant. Not a tax strategist. I just work, right. But I'm trying to figure it out as well. So I'm like, okay, so now the coaching part can be under its own umbrella, and does its own thing, and then the content creation part can be under its own thing. But as we build it up, like companies, I'm pretty sure companies don't start with a bunch of different divisions on the first day, because it might be just one person, might be two people, and they're figuring out as they go along. And so that's the way that I see it. But awesome comment. And let's see here. Let me see. All right, it looks like we're good on that. Let me just make sure while we're on break that because like when we come back from break, I just want to go straight into it. So I think we're good though with the new deployment with the load balancer. So it's actually my yep, it's there. All right, cool. So when we come back from break, we'll have a good 30 minutes to go working on this load balancer stuff. So it's actually the Docker image that has a problem. So I'll figure that out. I don't know why that would be, but maybe because it was so small that something is actually wrong with it. So we'll figure it out. All right. Let me see. That was just glad I got the mindset. Oh yeah, you definitely have the mindset, Pluto. And love to talk. I love talking with you. Love working with you. Trust accounts too. I haven't gotten that far into it yet. But that is definitely, because I hear a lot of talks about it. Got to figure that out. So, the tech stuff, I will be all over it, but the whole financial and estate planning thing, I need to figure that out a lot more. So that's definitely an area that I want to understand a little bit better. But we do what we do. All right. So what I wanted to talk. So what I didn't get to cover in the first break was I want to talk about this, right? How does Amazon, not Amazon, okay. When you think about security, right? How do you notice that Amazon handles security at checkout? Because when I go to check out on Amazon, I will add something to the cart, go to checkout, and then I can just, it has my last credit card, or it has a credit card stored, and it has the location to deliver to stored, right? And all I have to do is click on checkout or complete order or whatever it is, and boom, it's done. If it's same day delivery, get it in a few hours. If it's the next day, whatever, right? So I was wondering, how can, if someone is, let's say you lose your phone or whatever, right? And somebody's able to get into your phone. And then they are able to and you have Amazon and they go to order something. How does Amazon help prevent them from shipping to their address using your account? So what I've noticed in the past, and I haven't shipped to somebody else's location in a long time, but what I noticed in the past is when I go to add a new address to ship to, or using a different credit card or something. I don't know the exact matrix of it, but when I would say, okay, I'm going to use my credit card to ship to somebody else's address, and you can add the address and everything, it'll tell me, it would at the time, which has been a while, it would say, oh, you need to, I think it was enter your password in again. So it does some type of authentication. But if I choose an address that I've shipped to before, that's already in my address book, then no problem. Whenever I'm shipping to a different address, it would always ask me to, because sometimes you might ship to a family member or to a friend, and it'll say, okay, you need to authenticate at this point. Sometimes as well, if I'm using a new credit card to ship to maybe an existing address, I don't remember the part of adding a new credit card, but definitely when I'm choosing an address that I haven't used before, I remember that it would always ask me to authenticate. So to me, that's one of the ways that Amazon handles using like their like security measures, right? So that your credit card doesn't get stolen. Like let's say they even they hack your account and everything like that. And they want to ship to themselves. I mean, if they hack your account, then they probably have your password. But some measures that I see in place, let me know what you think about that. I could be. Like I said, I don't ship to other people much, but when I have, it would ask me to authenticate. So have you noticed that? Do you see that? So yeah, so that's that. Let's see. So and Pluto gives some insight to. Let me see if I can make this bigger. Let's see, make that bigger. Pluto says, to my knowledge, it's due to PCI DSS standard council regulation. So basically, part of it is security, but part of it is your billing address needs to match your card. At the very least, same zip code. Yeah, that. Yeah. But I'm talking about the shipping address though. It's like because you can have the same billing address and the like so in your account when you have like your card stored, it'll have the billing address and the credit card number. But then when you go to add a new shipping address, like an address you never shipped to before, that's when I see that it always asks you to do some type of authentication again, just to make sure that you are meaning to send to ship to that address, right? So that's what I've noticed. So let's see. And Pluto says, if someone knows your address and card number, they can still ship elsewhere. Shipping address and billing address don't have. Yeah, exactly. So that's the part I'm talking about with the measures of Amazon, like putting into place. Like when you do add a new shipping address, they'll ask you for some type of authentication, from what I've seen in the past. But yeah, like definitely, like yeah, that I know that's for sure. And that's why you're able to ship to other people. But I just noticed in the past when I would add a new address that I've never shipped to before, that's when they ask for some type of authentication over again. Or no, what they ask you to do. I think what they ask you to do is enter the credit. Yeah, it's not entering the password. What now? I remember what they'll ask you to do is enter the whole entire credit card number over again. When you enter a new address. So like say I'm using my Amazon credit card, right? And I say, okay, ship to this new address that I've never shipped to before. Then they'll say, okay, enter your whole credit card number over again. And if they have the credit card, then they'll be able to do it. If they don't, if they only hacked your account, but they don't have the actual credit card, and they try to ship to an address they never shipped to before, like let's say they stole your credit card and or not your credit, but they hacked your account and you are in Florida, your shipping addresses are in Florida, but you're in California and they're trying to ship to there, it would ask them to enter the whole entire credit card number over again. So that's what I've noticed. I haven't done it in a while, so I don't know if it's still the same. But that's the interesting part. And so it says, not gonna lie, card got skimmed and someone still was able to process the payment. So also depends on the payment card. Yep, that's definitely true. I've like like the credit card scam, the gas station scams, and all that type of stuff. All that happens. So yeah, like there's many different ways. That's just one way that I noticed that Amazon tries to put a little bit of extra security measures. Is there ways around that? Definitely, right? But that's just one of the ways that I've noticed. And one more thing I wanted to talk about before we get back to it. I've mentioned to you guys about Grammar Hub in the past. Yesterday, that we had Grammar Hub had their every third Saturday they have a meetup at this game place, right, where people can go and play games and stuff like that. And a couple of things that came out of that, right? Having conversations with different people, like whether you're doing it in person or whether you're doing it in like online meetup, like on Google or on a live stream chat. So much good information that I got coming out of there. Like one of the people that I was talking to there, I was telling him the things that I was working on. He was telling me the things that he was working on, very cool ideas. And he said, and he's like, and I was telling him about the project, the Poopy Pants project, and the Tech Barbarians. And he was like, oh, are you using Express? I'm like, yeah. And he's like, you should definitely check out next.dev, nx.dev, right? I'm like, NX, and he was explaining to me about like it's a mono repo and all this type of stuff and like how everything works. And I'm like, that's pretty interesting. Like, because a lot of the stuff he was talking about, I'm not too familiar with, but I'm like, hey, now that gives me ideas for more content so that we can we can investigate nx.dev, and if it works right, like if it satisfies the need, I can implement it into this project, and we just continue to win, and that's the thing. Like, I know a lot of people, they talk a lot about, like, networking events and conferences and stuff like that. Which, in me, I'm not a big fan of going to a place where there's a bunch of people watching a few speakers, and then trying to cozy up to them, and just talking about, like, I don't know. I'm just not the type of person to sit in an audience and watch a few people speak, right? I would rather, like, when yesterday's environment, where it's just like we're just sitting, like, a few of us sitting around the table, we're just sharing ideas and talking about the things that we're working on. I don't need to sit in an audience and watch somebody up in front of a stage and saying, "Oh, this and that," because I can just go on YouTube and see the cool stuff, that, like, cool new technology. I don't have to pay $400 to $500 to go sit in an audience and see the things that I can, like, figure out on my own and on YouTube. So that's just me, right? No hate to any of those things. That's just not my style. I would rather, like, if I'm either online, we're collaborating and working, or in person, we're collaborating and working and sharing ideas, like getting that idea about the NX dev. And another thing that came out of it, talking to like the person that invited me to the group, I was like, so, talking about what they're working on in their career right now, and I was like, all right, so what's the next step? Like, where do you, like, what do you want to do next? Always thinking about the next step. Where do you want to go? And if wherever you're at, it's like, that you can make more money, you can do more, you can learn more. Let's make the plan and let's go out there and get it. Let's make the plan. Let's go out there and get it. Right. So just sharing some stuff that came out of that meeting. So it was really good stuff. Meet up in person, and we get to hang out. We get to do cool stuff. And it's a cool environment too, and very, very nice people. And I have to reach out to Alan, who is pretty much the leader, maybe founder, co-founder of Grammar Hub, and get him up on a stream so we can have a conversation. He can share more about the organization and all that cool stuff. So just wanted to share that. Let me check the comments, make sure there's nothing else in there. And then, so Pluto says, but luckily I use a secondary debit card that I don't link to any bank account, and it takes 24 hours to process to the bank after I manually push it. You are like, you are very knowledgeable in this stuff, because I'm sure in the at WGU and all the stuff that you worked on in cyber and what you do now, like every day at work, you see a lot of things, and like, okay, this is the things I need to avoid. Because a lot of people, like, we don't have all that information, which is still our fault, because we should go out there and get it to be more secure. And people says, that's how I avoid losing money. Hey, I don't like to lose not even a penny. All right. So let's get back to this. All right. So let me see, where is this? All right. So we're gonna go to here in our last 25 minutes or so, and we are going to see, all right, where do we leave off on this? Right. We got to, so the app is up and running. I was able to check that. I can show you as well. Let's go here and let's go here. Paste 3000. So what we ultimately want to do, we want to get the docker dot moviePants dot app to load this, right? And then I'll figure out what's going on with that image to see how we can fix that later on, not on the stream. So we have that up and running, and now let's look here, and let's also look at our load balancer, and we got all the way to the AWS Internet Gateway, and it has the VPC main. So we have subnets in there as well. What we'll want to do is pull in those subnets. So, all right, let's keep looking at this for now. And we have all that. We have that. Let me see. Variables. All right, variables. And network.tf. So, all right, we have this. We are at over here. So that's where we stopped, right? So now what I'll do is I will work on this screen while I look to get the information from over here. So we did that part. Now we're going to do the resource AWS route, and that is to AWS route the public subnet traffic through the the internet gateway. All right, so resource, and we're gonna call that AWS route. And we're gonna get that. We're gonna call that. We'll just call that internet access. Oopsie, and then that goes here, and then route table ID is going to be AWS VPC dot main route table ID. We're gonna do destination CR block. We're gonna do 0.0.0.0, and that one. Oops, I missed a 0. And that one means like any traffic can get to it. All right, and the gateway ID is going to be AWS Internet Gateway dot GW.ID. All right, so that's taken care of. And now, and you know what? I'm gonna copy these. I'm gonna copy these here because this is actually very useful to tell us exactly what each of these things are doing. So let me just go back because I don't like copying the whole thing in there, but so I don't mind typing them out. But I should copy the comments to get a good idea of what each of these thingies are doing. Each of these resources are doing. Oops. Wait a second. Did I already have one of these? Wait a second. I had that already. Why do I have 2 of those? Why do I have so I'll get rid of this one. Let's get rid of this one. And AWS subnet. I have 2 of these. How did I get 2? That's so weird. And why is that one longer than the other one? So let's see what it's supposed to be. Oh, there's a private and there's a public. Okay, got the private, got the public. I don't know how that resource that route one snuck in there, but okay, so we are good now. Maybe I was looking at it incorrectly. Okay, so now we're gonna do let's copy this. And we're gonna say resource, AWS EIP. That's so create a NAT gateway with elastic IP for each private subnet to get internet connectivity. Okay, so we're gonna say GW, and we're gonna say count. Oops, count equals var.az count, and VPC equals true. Deprecate. Okay, so I guess we'll take that out. Okay, and I guess we'll go to depends on AWS Internet Gateway. Okay, let's go with that. Just the VPC is, I guess it's just going to automatically assume that it's using the VPC, or maybe there's no option for it. We're going to do another resource, and we're going to say AWS NAT Gateway. And that's going to be another GW. And we're going to say subnet ID. Element. That's going to be AWS subnet dot public. And that's going to be dot asterisk dot ID. That's saying all of them in there, and then count dot index. And then we're going to say allocation ID, and that's going to be element. And now we're passing and I'll tell you honestly, all this networking stuff like means absolutely nothing to me. I am mostly just like following the guide on this one. If I had like stuck to what I did when I was in school with the subnets and stuff like that, that would mean a lot more to me. But I don't really. This is kind of foreign to me. I have some type of idea, but I'm gonna have to read, because that's the thing with AWS, right? there is something for everyone. If you're a network engineer, this is the type of stuff that you'll be really, really good at. If you are software engineer, some other stuff. Like I wouldn't expect a network engineer to be able to do the ECS part, right? But I would expect a network engineer to come and set this stuff up, and then provide us the the information that we need for our application. Because knowing all this stuff, it's just, to me, it's like too much at that point. But I could be wrong. Let me know what you guys think, right? So now we have that. And we're going to go and say, create a new route table. And we say resource, AWS route table. I'll call that one private. And it's going to go to that. And it's going to say var or count equals var.az count. All right. We got that, and we're gonna do another. Oh, there's something in there too. We're gonna say route CID CIDR block. And that's gonna be 0.0.0.0/0, and then we're going to say NAT gateway, and that's going to be element. And now we're going to be doing AWS NAT gateway .star.id. So I know that is saying like get all of the gateway IDs in there, and gateway.gw. It's saying all of them that are in the count of how many availability zone that you pass through. All right, and we got that. And then lastly on this file, we're going to say explicitly associate newly created route table. So we're going to say resource, AWS route table association. We're going to call that private. And we're going to say here, we're going to say route table ID element and AWS route table dot private dot star dot id and count dot index. And I tell you, the more you do it, the more it starts making sense to you. And we're gonna say subnet ID element AWS subnet dot private dot asterisk dot id count dot index. And then lastly, count equals var.az. Okay, cool. There we go. And that was our last one, right? So that part is done. Now that we have our network created, let's set up some security groups, make sure our app is properly protected. Let's go ahead and let me see something inside of. Now I'm looking to see inside of here, is it referencing anything for? Is it referencing anything for the available? So okay, it has. Right, so this is the variables. Did we do any? So we didn't do any. All right, we didn't do any. All right, we didn't do any ECR stuff yet. So or ECS stuff yet. So that's cool. So now let's do our. I'm gonna start doing our security group. So we have our AWS security group, load balance, ingress. Not too much. I think we have enough. And then first our load balancer with a health check. We're gonna do this one, and then all right. So we have the ECS. So inside of our ECS cluster, we're going to have to see how we can plug in to this load balancing stuff. So, and it's probably gonna be, so it depends on this, and it's gonna say what load balancer to use and the network configuration. So it's mainly gonna be this stuff right here that's gonna be using it. And you're gonna say like, in order for that plan to work, then you got to do this, right? And then we have the auto scaling. I honestly don't mind doing a little bit more. Honestly, today because I would love to get through this. So we'll take a break once we get to 0, and then we will maybe put another 30 minutes on the clock today to try to get this over the line. Let me know. What do you guys think? While we have this last, I'll let you guys decide. While we have this last 12, 13 minutes, I'll see what you guys, if you guys say let's do it, then we'll do it. We'll push through. If you say no, we're done for the day, we'll push it over for next week, right? But I would love to get through this for today, right? So, but let's keep going. Let's keep going. So we have this one done. We are working on. We got this file done. We're gonna do the security file, right? So let's do new file. We're gonna call that. So I'm gonna go over here. New file. They're gonna call that ECR security.tf, and we can add that. And we're gonna say so. Let's just start off with this, and we're gonna say resource AWS security group. We'll just call that load balance. And we'll say name equals, and we'll say PPQ load balancer security group. Description, control, access to the PPQ load balancers. All right. And we'll say VPC is AWS VPC main. All right, perfect. And then within that, we're going to say ingress is what can come in, protocol TCP from port. I don't think I have a var.app port. I do not have a var.app port. Where do we define the var. I think the var.app port is inside of here. But we can take that. Do I have? Let me see something. Before, I don't want to share my variables file before. Let's see. All right, cool. I can go to this file. So let's go into here, and we can put this var.app port, number of containers to run. We can try that. See what happens. I'm gonna go with. I don't think I need that many containers. Honestly, let's go with 1. We can always change that, and then we'll go with the. There's no health check. I think we had that defined in here, so we won't have to. Yeah, we had it in here. So I'll leave that. I'll leave that out for now. So, all right, cool. So we are our variables are good. So if you go here to security, and we're gonna say var.app port, and to port equals var.app port as well. And then ingress CID blocks, we're going to say again 0.0.0.0/0. And egress is going to be protocol -1 from port 0 to port 0. I wish I had a description of what that means. I'll look that up though. And then CIDR block 0.0.0/0. All right. This, like, I always get confused about like the egress part, but you know, we'll figure that out. All right. So we got that, and now the next thing we're gonna do is traffic to the ECS cluster should only come from the load balancer. So that means you cannot get to something directly with there, right? So let's say resource, and we're going to say AWS security group, and we're going to say ECS task. We'll call that PPQ ECS tasks. Always putting PPQ, just so we can like know the resources for. And we're going to say, we're going to name this one. Did I give it a name up there like that as well? Let's just call this PPQ load balancer. All right, so name equals PPQ ECS tasks security. How am I putting these? Should be that security group and description. Allow inbound access from the ALB only. So traffic can only come in if they go through the load balancer. So VPC ID, got that. And we're gonna say ingress again, protocol, TCP, and from port is var.apport. To port is var.apport as well. And security group is going to be AWS security group .lb or .ppq lb .id. All right, so there we go. And we're also, so we didn't have a security group on the one up top because we were creating the security group for it. And now we're saying this security group for the PPQ should only use this one. Okay, so we're saying the security group that we're creating for the ECS tasks should only use the security group for, or it should only use the security group for the PPQ load balancers. All right, that's what I'm gathering from it. If I'm missing something, feel free to let me know. More than welcome. All right, egress, and then we're gonna say protocol. I gotta figure out what the protocol. Let me just do a quick Google search. Terraform protocol equals -1. See what that means. Let's see. Did that tell me anything? Let's see, AWS. Oops. I put these in quotes, maybe. Just curious to find out what that means. Take a quick look over here. That means I don't know that. Semantically equivalent. Okay, so that means all ports. All right, so gotcha. So let's go back. Protocol -1. Back this thing over here. And this is the egress. From port equals 0 to port equals 0. CIDR block 0.0.0.0/0. All right. So we got our security file created. Let's go and with all this in place, we're ready to build out our application load balancer and ECS cluster. For the tutorial, we're going to be listening on HTTP requests on port 80. However, I think it goes without saying that if you're using this in production, listen for HTTPS over port 443. You can use AWS Certificate Manager. So, and we did that before, so I think we can do that again for this, right? So let's keep going. So that's what we're looking at now. We're going to be building out our ALB for this. Yeah, let's keep going. 3 minutes before our break. Then we'll see if we're gonna do one more segment or not. All right. And that segment's gonna be like till we finish this. So let's see. Let's create a new file. And we're gonna say that's gonna be called ECR/ALB for application load balancer. And we're gonna add that. We're gonna say resource AWS ALB. And when I do tab, it should take me to the other one. We're gonna say that's gonna be called main. And the name, we're going to call that PPQ load balancer. And subnets, we're going to be using AWS subnet dot public dot asterisk dot IP the ID. So all those. And the security group we're going to use is going to be the AWS security group dot PPQ load balance dot ID. All right. And we're going to say resource AWS.ALB.target group. And we're going to call that PPQ app. And we're going to say name equals PPQ dash target group. And port equals 80. Protocol is HTTP, and this is where we would be setting up the HTTPS as well, but we'll do that later. And then VPC ID is going to be that one, and then target type is going to be via the IP. And then we have a health check in there with a healthy threshold of 3. We have interval of, it should be in quotes, 30. Protocol, HTTP. Matcher, 200. I'm not even sure if this is gonna work because I don't have a health check page on this yet, so might have to get rid of this or comment it out at least. Path. Yeah, I don't even have a. I'm gonna write it in, but I'm going because I don't have a health check page in this yet. See, like I said, so I'm just gonna comment this out. Well, once we implement a health check page, then we can actually implement that. Let's go to the next one, which is going to be, let's see, there's all right. So although time is up, there is like 2 resources left to add on this. I'm just gonna add those resources. AWS ALB listener. Remember last time we had issues with the listener. So let's call that front end. And the load balancer ARN is going to be AWS underscore ALB dot main dot app or dot ID. And then the port is going to be var.app port. And the protocol is going to be HTTP with a default action of type is forward. And target group ARN is going to be AWS ALB target group with PPQ app.id. All right, so that is that part. So the next thing is going to be the ECS cluster, but let's take a quick break real quick. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to put another 30 minutes on the clock, 35 minutes. I'll put 35. And we will go to break and I'll check the comments. And then let me do this real quick. Edit countdown. And we're going to say 5:35, right? that. And once we get to the other screen, we'll take care of those. But let's see, what do we have? We have Pluto says, once you see the flaws, it's hard to unsee. I was at the airport a few months back and TSA left someone's whole ID and a 4K monitor. Thousands of people passed by it, and yeah, that person is doxxed. That's crazy. That is crazy. All right. And what else we got? It says L networking. And it says, I mean, why hire a network engineer when the QA engineer like yourself can scrape by and make it work? Because your network is going to go down. It's going to be a mess. All right. You do not want me to be do it like you see how like you don't have to do it. Like get someone qualified to take care of your enterprise network. All right. Let's not do that. And it says we don't do next weeks around here, now or never. I wanted let me see. Yeah.
Spartans! What is your profession?
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about, Pluto.
Be the best.
All right. So let's do it. Anything. Yeah. Check this out. I will drop the link in the chat, but I'll show you too as well. So there you go. So the way I came up with this, right? So in one of David Goggins' interviews, he was talking about how, he had poopy pants because he didn't do what he was supposed to do because whatever reason. And then he's like, or he didn't want to do it. And he's like, so I'm like, you know what? Let's create what I can do for the people that I'm coaching, they can get experience. Because a lot of times what happens is you go into these boot camps, and one of the people that I'm coaching, they're in a boot camp and there's like a bunch of people on it. They're not really getting as much out of it as they should be. So I'm like, all right, let's go ahead and let's create an app that, that you can put your name on, that you were part of building, and you can explain all the things that you did on it and stuff like that. So that ended up, and so we've been working on this since September, from inception to where there was absolutely nothing, training up a group of people on how agile works, and then like some people, like most of the original group, they're not there anymore, and now it's a new group but the app stays the same, just like it is in a software development company, right? A lot of times the people who started working on the project, they're not there anymore. And so now, this is what the tech barbarian, and we still have to work on the UI and stuff like that, but just to get an MVP out so that people could so that if they have to share what they're working on with somebody, they can easily do it, and they can explain the technology behind it. They can explain their role in it, the tools that they're using and stuff like that. So that was the goal and the heart behind it, and seeing how so them working on tools like Docker, and me getting to work on Terraform for it, them working on node projects, how to start up a application locally, how just different strategies. I had one of the newest tech barbarian, they were looking at the build, the pull request, and oh yeah, they're like, oh, the GitHub action failed or something. I'm like, man, you're really on it, and so so that's the heart behind it. Putting out an application that someone can actually show and be able to talk about confidently their role in it and what they did, and the whole infrastructure, because then when you're able to do that, that's going to give whoever you're talking to confidence that, okay, this person actually knows what they're doing, and that's how based on your work ethic on that, that's how I'll give you recommendations and stuff like that, because I am very tough to give recommendations. When I see the way that you work, then you'll get a recommendation from me, right? It says you need to tag David Goggins. Hey, I have some ideas. I have some ideas to put into it, but that's the way that I'm able to help these people, because they've never been they did the boot camps and stuff like that, but they never get any exposure to the technologies behind thing that you do day to day, like working in AWS. Like another one of my tech barbarians, I found like a startup that had no testing so that they can build some experience. And now they're working in AWS and in the device farm because it's a mobile app that they're testing. So just like just finding stuff so they can actually build real experience and not just like the same. Go to some e-commerce site that it's not even real, and you're just writing some test cases that people have written 1,000 times. Everything that you do when they're working with me, it's new, right? Because we're building something new. And then like as I get more people, then I'll probably like say, okay, let me move this person to working on like the mobile app so they can like get that type of testing because at some point there's going to be like full capacity on this app, but we can work and build because for me like the most I'll do is probably throw some ads on them or something like that. But yeah, so it's so it says that makes sense. I need to build an app. And lastly, tech barbarians. No, that's just like that's what I call my coaching group. Like it's like however many. I cap it at 10. For the tech barbarians, and I have the tech prodigy members that I cap it at 25, just so I can have the capacity to be able to coach them one on one. But it's just like yeah, like, and I just call them that because they're the ones who primarily work on the. Some of them don't because they actually already working in whatever field that they want. So we just do coaching every like on a schedule. But the ones who are looking to build experience, that's what it is. But it's not a boot camp because I just don't have the capacity, and Mitch would like ridicule me till the end of time if I was to start a boot camp. So, right? So, all right, let's continue. We're gonna finish up for the day with our last 25 minutes. Right? So let's go over to this right here. And so we have our cluster done. So we're gonna go. I'm gonna open up the plan, and we're just gonna make some changes to the stuff that I don't know what this is. This template file is. That must be something. That's something different. We're just gonna make some changes to our ECS so that we can get our. We have all that already. We just need to do. Let me check the network mode. All right, the network mode matches. So inside the service, this part is so inside the network configurations for the service. That's the part. This is the part that we need to do. All right, and then we should be good. All right, so let's go over to here, and we're gonna go to. So we're gonna leave this for now until I can figure. So next week, right? Next, because I don't want to crash the computer and have me freezing on stream and stuff like that. Let me update this time as well so we can be aware of how much time is left. Let's do if I can do window. Let's go here and let's go to countdown. And we're gonna do that. It's going to be till 5:35. Cool. All right. And we're gonna go over and we're going to do ECS service network. Sorry, the network configuration. We are going to do security group. Uncomment that, and we're gonna say AWS security group dot pvq task dot id, and the subnet is going to be okay because it has the asterisk and it's going to say all of them, so it's going to be a list anyway. So AWS subnet dot private dot asterisk dot id. So that's the network. So that's the network configuration here. Assign public IP is true. And then we are going to need, so we already have this. So let's move this down to the bottom actually. to over here. And let's get rid of this. All right. var.app count. Okay, and we have the network configuration. This one we can get rid of this to do because we already spoke about it. And we're gonna say load balancer and container name. That one just gets a name. PPQ app. And container port is going to be var.app port, which is 3000. And we're going to say target group ARN is going to be AWS ALB target group dot app dot ID or dot PPQ app. All right, we got that. And then we're going to add this. Let's get rid of this stuff over here. Depend. Oh, that's going to be inside the block. The resource block of this one depends on AWS ALB listener.frontend AWS. I don't have this in here, so I guess I remember doing this. I don't remember doing this part. Let's see, what is this? Oh, this doesn't exist. All right, so that should be fun, I guess. Never. All right. Let's see. Variable. Oh, what is this? Execution rule ARN. Do I have that in mind? Let me see. I do. All right, cool. So let's just say depends on I guess that's if they were creating it, but ours already exists. So I'm just going to leave that as is. All right. Okay. So we are almost there. Let's go back over here. We're getting close. So let's do auto scaling. Why don't we while we're at it? Like this is like going very outside of what I was expecting to do. But the more we push ourselves, the better we get. As Pluto said, it's either now or never. All right. So AWS app auto scaling target. And even though I don't understand most of this stuff, right? It starts to put it in your mind though. It puts it in your mind, and then you are going to, the more you do it, you're going to build upon it, precept upon precept. So here we're going to say service slash, and then we're going to put our variable in here for AWS ECS cluster dot PPQ cluster dot name. And then that's going to be a slash AWS ECS service dot PPQ dot name. Is there anything else that goes after that? Nope. And then we're going to go to scalable dimension is going to be ECS service desired count. Oops. And I guess we'll leave this 3 and 6 for now. Or I'm gonna go with 1. I don't like going with all these big numbers because then all of a sudden you see your bill is like super high, and I'm like, I don't think so. Actually, min should be 1 and max should be 3. Always watching that AWS bill like a hawk, All right, we got all of those. There's a role ARN. I don't think I have this. see, role ARN, AWS. I am. I wonder if I can get by with leaving this out because I don't know if I have this. So what I will do though is I will go into here and do IAM, and then let's say we take this one. Let me just get mine and users. Let's go to and if we go into back over here, and we go here. So if we go to role ARN, let's go with that for now, right? I don't know. Okay, because I don't have I would have to create a role for that. Cool. All right, whatever. So let's keep going. We're gonna say automatically scale capacity up by 1. Now we're getting into load balancing and stuff. Ooh, I've never been into the load balancing realm. So resource, AWS app auto scale policy. And we're gonna call that PBQ up. Name is gonna be PPQ scale up, or resource ID is going to be same as the other one. So I just copy this. Scalable dimension is ECS service desired count. And imagine like reading all this in a book or just watching it in some type of video and not actually like doing it. You're not gonna get anything out of it, right? So next up, we're gonna say step scaling configuration adjustment type is going to be change in capacity. And cooldown is 60, and metric aggregation type is going to be maximum. Oh, I'm sharing the wrong screen, right? So this, I'm just typing this stuff out. And why is the typo maybe? Yep. All right, cool. That can stay. And then step. Is that within it? Okay, that's within the block. I wonder who came up with all this stuff because this stuff is crazy. Like so much goes into this stuff. I'm sure it was like networking people who do this who like, all right, how can we like they used to do a bunch of networking manually, and then when AWS wanted to do all this stuff in the cloud, they hired them, you know. And then some people say, oh no, like we don't want the cloud, and now everyone is using the cloud and they miss out, you know. So you have to continue making the adjustments, you know. All right, and then depends on AWS auto app auto scaling target, PPQ target. Got that. And then we have the other one where we are going to automatically scale down. So let's take this right here. And we're going to say AWS or resource, AWS app auto scaling policy. Oops. And we're going to say ppq down. And the name is going to be ppq scale down. And resource ID is going to be same as the other one. So we're just going to copy that over. Scale down dimensions is going to be ECS service desired count. Service name is going to be ECS service namespace. And then in here, we're going to say the same as last time. We're going to do step scaling policy configuration. And we're going to say adjustment type, change in capacity. We have a full infrastructure being built here. Like, let's say there was like thousands of users on this, then it like our adjustments and stuff like that to get more servers up and more servers down as necessary, you know. And we're gonna do another step just within it. Same thing as last time. Step adjustment and scale adjustment -1. And then this one's gonna be metric interval lower bound 0. What is it in this one? Is it upper bound in that one? Oh. Is it lower bound in this one too? Oh, both are lower bound. Okay. And then we're gonna say depends on, and it's going to be AWS auto scaling target. Target. Cool. There we go. And then lastly, we're going to do our CloudWatch resources. Let's copy that as well. CloudWatch alarm that triggers the auto scaling up policy. So resource, AWS, CloudWatch metric alarm. And we're going to call that PPQ service CPU high. And the alarm name is going to be PPQ underscore CPU utilization high comparison operator greater than or equal to threshold. Greater than or equal to. And evaluation period 2. Metric. Metric name is going to be CPU utilization. Namespace is going to be AWS ECS. And the period is going to, oh my goodness gracious, period is going to be 60. And statistic is going to be average. Threshold 85. All right. Let's keep going. Dimensions is cluster name equals AWS ECS cluster dot ppq dot name and service name is equal to AWS ECS service dot ppq service dot name. All right. And lastly, we have alarm actions, and we wanted to do AWS app auto scaling policy dot up dot ppq up dot ARN. And now the CloudWatch policy that triggers the auto scaling down. So copy that over. So the one we have one that goes up, we have to come back down. All right. What goes up must come down. So resource is AWS CloudWatch metric alarm. And that's going to be PPQ or PP or what did I call it over here? So PPQ service CPU low. Alarm name is going to be PPQ CPU utilization low. And comparison operator less than or equal to threshold. And evaluation period 2. And metric name is going to be CPU utilization. And namespace, oh my God, it's going to be AWS ECS. And we're almost done with that. We got period already. Period. Point blank period. 60. Statistics average. And the threshold is going to be 10. And then we're going to set up our dimensions again, which is going to be cluster name is AWS ECS cluster dot pp cluster dot name, and service name is going to be AWS ECS service dot ppq service dot name. All right. And then the alarm that we're going to trigger is going to be AWS auto scaling or app auto scaling policy.ppqdown.arn, right? So all of that is in, right? But of course, we're looking for logging earlier. Let's add logging, but wait, there's more. Let's add logging. Logs.tf, or let's call that ECR, or yeah, ECS. Logs. I have to change some of these file names, but that's no biggie. Let's go that. Let me change these as well because these are not ECRs. These are ECS. These are being done for ECS. Refactor, rename, CFF6, right? Ooh, can't rename it right now. But after we bring it down and we're gonna bring it back up, then we'll rename it because I don't want to mess anything. It shouldn't matter, but I don't want to mess anything with that right now because I know that they were used. But everything else has ECS, right? Let me change. This one hasn't been used. Let me change this one. Let's try Shift F6. Does that work? Shift F6 or Shift? Shift. Let's call that ECS. So this is the only other one that I have to change, right? Cool. So I can change this auto scaling to ECS auto scaling. And lastly, we're going to do new file ECS logs.tf. Oh, I already created it already. All right, cool. So over here. Okay, so we're going to do set up the CloudWatch group and resource. What was that? 4 minutes left. All right, AWS Cloud. So what we're doing is we're going to be doing the logging part right here. And we should be done. This is our last thing, and then we're going to try to bring it all up and see what happens, right? We are in crunch time and overtime, right? CloudWatch log group. And we're going to say ppq log group. And we're going to say name equals ECS/ppq app. And we're going to say retention in days 30. I'm going to go with 5. I know they're going to try to charge your brother. And I'm like, once those charges come in, I'll be like, when I saw that $100 bill, which I got back, I was like,
Bruh.
nah, this ain't happening. This ain't happening. All right. So let's continue. We're going to do 5 days retention and then tags equals name equals ppq log group. All right. And let's do one more resource. AWS Cloud Watch Log Stream. And that's going to be ppq log stream. And log group name is going to be AWS Cloud Watch log group dot ppq log group. And the name is going to be ppq log stream. All right, that is it. And we need outputs. I guess we can move all the outputs to one thing. So let's go to new file, outputs dot ECS, or let's go outputs. There's going to be outputs from two things in there. Outputs.tf, and we're going to go to the ECR file. There's no outputs in here. Let's go to the ECR file, and we can take these out and bring them to the output file. And we're also going to want to output the ALB host name, which is going to be valued at AWS ALB.main.dns name. All right. Everything is done. Everything is done. Let's see what happens. All right. Let's see what happens. The moment of truth. So Terraform apply. You know, we have to go with a all right, so reference to count in non-context and non-counted. So allocation ID. So let's check for this real quick to see what caused that to fail. The count object can only be used in module, resources, and data blocks only when the count argument is set. Let's see what we did here. Let's see, copy that. So, so let's go to, that is in the NAT gateway file. Let's see what file this is in. So both of these counts have issues. ALB and ALB. All right, cool. So we go to the ALB file. Line 47. ECS. What the heck? What file is this? What in the world file is this one? Let's see. So ECS ALB, ECR ALB. I did something wrong here. Let me see. Redirect all traffic from ALB to target group. And here, let me see. Is this in the other one? Why do I have two of these files? did I get? So this is a new file. It's green. Hold on a second. Let me check in here. AWS LB main. Let's see here. So the network.tf file. This is the network.tf file. So let me rename this one then to let's rename this file. That confused me. Rename to ECS network. All right, so we have data availability group, PBQ available, resource, AWS, subnet. Okay, we got all that. Internet gateway, we got all that. What is this count? So you guys are complaining about on line 47 and AWS NAT gateway. Ah, okay. So I missed something. All right. Count equals var.az count. And the other place you're complaining is on the, let's see, 47 and on. Okay, so it's just all right, cool. So that confused me. But let's try it again. We are just about done. We are just testing our work because we don't want to leave this part for next week. Okay, so far so good. And it says incorrect attributes value type, log group name, inappropriate value for attribute log group name string required. Okay, so that's going to be our ECS logs and PBQ group. What are you talking about? AWS CloudWatch, AWS log group. Dot name. Okay, one more time. Then once this is done, we're going to wrap it. Oh, my goodness. Subnet. All right, so ECR ALB main AWS subnet public is tuple with 2 elements. Let's see. It should still be you rename this anyways. ECS. And we are going to look for this thing in there. So ALB. Resource main. Ah, okay. That's my bad. So there's no, I put it in here, but this shouldn't be like that. All right. So that's fixed. You know, now we're doing QA. We're doing QA now. Let's see. All right. So that's good. It's going to do all of this stuff and we shall see. So if this goes through, what we'll end up doing is tearing it down. And then that means this will be up next week. We would be actually setting up the subdomain with the Route 53, all that stuff of how it's going to be able to access it via the domain name, right? So that's the plan. That's the goal for next week. We shall see. We shall see. Let me get the timer off the screen because we are wrapping up. I just want to see if it starts up. If not, then we'll continue next week. But we work. We work over here. Let's see. All right. So it's creating it. I'm gonna go. While it's doing that, let's go over to AWS. And we're going to say, okay, we're going to say, let's see, load balancer. Where do load balancers live? Let's go to load balancers. Let's see what's being created over here. There goes our load balancer being created. So stuff is happening. Stuff is happening. But we are going to tear it down because load balancers are not cheap. I'll tell you that. Let's see. But we'll watch what's going on over here where all the action is happening, doing private. And you see everything that's being created, everything being assigned IDs and stuff like that in AWS. It took us some time to do this, but imagine if we had to go to through every one of these points, like we had to do in the past before, you had this infrastructure as code. You had to go through every single point and getting this set up. And then if you have to tear it down, you have to go through every single point as well to tear it down. So it would just be like a nightmare. I can't even imagine how they did it in the past. While this is happening, let's go and read some comments as we wrap it up. Let's say, where are we at? Mitchell would be quiet for a good amount of time, and then he hits me with this one, right? He hits me with this. Ralph is starting a boot camp soon, right? See, I knew that was coming. I know your type, Mitch. I know your type. And by the way, who won between the Heat and the Celtics? I have no idea. I didn't check. Oh my god, all that work and to get hit with a dead end. PPQ does not exist in the task definition. We can look at that real quick. But yeah, let me know who won. Let's see what happened here. Updating service ECR invalid parameter. The container PPQ app does not exist in the task definition. That is on ECS plan line 51. Let's go ECS plan line 51. All right, so modifying, updating ECS service, invalid parameter type, PPQ app. Referencing that. Task definition. The container PPQ app does not exist in the task definition. Who is referencing PPQ app? Container name. Oh, come on. Task definition. Which container name are you referring to, though? Load balancer container name, container port. So maybe they're talking about this one. Let's try that real quick. Let's go and do a Terraform apply. Hopefully most of the stuff is already done. We'll find out. All right, so 5 to add, 1 to change, right? Let's see what happens, all right? So while that is happening, let's continue reading the chat, having fun with the guys. And Peter says, that's dope. I have some live projects I'm working on. I'm building a website for my friend's photography business. I am making my own online business so that a project there and a business have many projects. Yeah, exactly. Like, and that's the thing. I always tell people because a lot of people they just like, oh, I want the job. I'm like, no, you have to build something like nothing. Like I totally. Oh, nice. This thing is done. Like I think I love working for companies and stuff like that. But at the same time, if you're like a lot of times people they'll it's easier to use software engineering, software development, right? They'll transition to like they want to transition and then they have a portfolio of like whatever they built from the boot camp or their Udemy course or Coursera, whatever it is, right? But to me, I think it's always more valuable when you're actually showing something that brings value to the world and say, oh, this is what this does. And that's what Calculus Coder did with after all his applications and stuff from his online learning and his boot camp and stuff like that. Nothing worked. He went back to school, but he also built a website that adds value like towards mental health and stuff like that. And then he ended up getting an opportunity to actually work in it. So I totally agree with you. Like build something like it doesn't. We have so much time on our hands. Why aren't we doing something with it? You know, build something, put it out there, get feedback, make it better. Like that's my strategy, right? So we have a host name, right? Let's take that. Copy. Wait. Take that. And we're going to take it over to here. And it's another moment of truth, all right? Moment of truth. Moment of truth, all right? So we're going to see if this actually works or not. Does it work or nah? All right? So we're going to give our drum roll. We're going to shift over to the other screen. We're going to paste it in here. And we're going to go to enter. And it's not working. All that work and it's not working. But it's probably some minor configuration, something that we have to give it access to. No biggie. But I'm going to wrap it up though, because we did a lot of work. We are not there yet, but we will be. And next week, we're going to come back and we're going to just finish this last little part to figure out what is the connection issue that's preventing it from happening. It could be a port. It could be a few different things that, let's real quick. Let's look at AWS to see what is the problem here. So what are our availability zones? It's probably this right here. I don't know. Because everything should have access to it. I think that's the availability zone. I don't know. Let me see. Let's see. Security groups. Let's see the security group. A lot of times it's like with the security group. So, custom TCP port. I don't know. I'm not sure. We'll figure it out next week. But we are a lot closer now to getting this domain, getting the domain pointed to it. We have our security group. Can't be reached, but we'll look into it. We'll figure it out. I'm gonna tear this Terraform down anyways, and we'll pick it back up next week. And by that point, we should definitely be able to, because we have all of our infrastructure in place. Just have to figure out the permissions and stuff like that. So it is what it is. It is what it is. All right. And I'll figure out why the Docker image wasn't working. So whatever. All right. So let's wrap it up for today. Let's see what else that we have. Let me go through the chat real quick, and then we'll get out of here. So Mitch says, nice Pluto. I agree. Totally nice. And we're going to celebrate Pluto one more time. And it says, let that AWS bill run up. Scared money don't make money. Yeah, no. All right. And the Celtics are, all right. Well, it happened, It happens. I don't even watch basketball anymore. Mitch makes me not even want to watch basketball anymore because of how bad I am. And Pluto says, but I can get a job with what I build. Exactly, you know? And that's why I do the coaching style the way that I do, so that they can actually articulate to the job everything that they know, because a lot of times it's a lot of theory. You ask them a question, they have no idea what to do. So that's my game plan. And I'm about that 9 to 5 style. Yep, 9 to 5, and then 5:01 to whatever, to whenever time, right? And Mitch says 9 to 5 is because that's because you work like 7 to like 7 because you have a 2-hour drive each way, you know. So and he says, but don't listen to the internet. Don't quit if you can still do your side. Like, oh, like 9 to 5 is bad. 9 to 5 is bad. I'm like, hey, I'm getting paid to do stuff that I know how to do, and I'm getting all my benefits. Come on now. Right? And Pluto says, I like my 9 to 5 vibe. Make money and work only 2 hours. All right, Pluto. Shh. Right? I am not gonna read that. While I work on other stuff for the other, I'm not gonna read that either. Right? And yeah, Mitch, when he has to go to the office, it is almost a 2-hour drive. So ain't nobody got time for that. Anyways, I'm gonna wrap it up. You guys know what it is. So on your way out, if you haven't done so already, do me a big favor: like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you can know every single time that we go live and drop new content. And my question for you, Pluto says, bitches, don't listen to him. Pluto says, if I was a villain, I would work 5 jobs at once. Okay. It is what it is. And, as we wrap up, I have the question for you as always. And my question to you, after 3 hours and 10 minutes live streaming on Terraform and stuff, doing a bunch of load balancer work that didn't work at the end of the day, my question to you is,
are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
you know what it is, right? Because I will not be here forever. Yesterday's price is not today's price, and today's price is certainly not tomorrow's price. Because as our good friend Marlo Stanfield said,
One more thing. Price of the brick going up.
the price of the brick is going up. And on that note, friends, family, everyone else far in between, this is Tech Coach Ralph. We're going to sign off. Tomorrow morning, we will be live at 7:45-ish after the Tech Niche Tips show is wrapping up. Talk That Tech. Subscribe to them if you haven't, right? We're going to be going live. We're going to be working on a little bit of Flutter mobile app development. And we're going to get into our week, right? Every day is Monday, all right? So let's get to work. On that note, this is Tech Coach Ralph, and we are out.
You might think that getting into the IT field is impossible without a computer science degree, but Tech Coach Ralph is here to prove you wrong. Get ready for some jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into this lucrative industry. Listen up, tech enthusiasts! Are you ready to break through into the IT field, but feel like you need a computer science degree to make it happen? Think again! Tech Coach Ralph has some exclusive, mind-blowing secrets to share with you. Get ready to be blown away by his jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into the tech industry without a computer science degree. So get your notepad ready, because Tech Coach Ralph is going to change your life forever. Buckle up, because you're about to embark on a journey to success in the IT field.